And we are live, the final stream of the week. Valero, Texas Open, coming from TPC San Antonio. We got a little bit of narratives to talk over, a little bit of bets to talk over, a little bit of DFS plays to talk over. Let me tweet out the link, and then we will get going. All right, yeah, link is tweeted out. Feel free to drop a question in the chat if you got anything. So we're going to go over narratives. We're going to go over some motivation factors, and we'll start with a few guys who had interviews this week. They didn't have a great interview schedule, but we heard from Billy Horschel, Rory McIlroy, Adam Scott, anyone else notable, Corey Connors. Those were the four main ones. So we'll talk with Billy Horschel, very popular bet this week, and he basically said, yeah, I feel good, and when I feel good, I feel like I can win, which I feel like checks out in Billy Horschel's mind, because he used to be a guy who would just win every year. Just no matter what, Billy Horschel would win once a year. And that was true up until last year, because his win at Memorial was so out of nowhere, and that kind of kept the trend going. But this is the best form Billy Horschel's shown in probably 2 seasons, truthfully. And I don't think it's crazy that he's so chalky, and crazy that his betting numbers absolutely bottomed out. From he was 80 to 1, 100 to 1, 200 to 1 for weeks and weeks and weeks, and he has one solid week, and now he's 35 to 1. I think it's a horrendous bet, truthfully, and I think it's a bad DFS play, because Billy Horschel is more of a guy who gets it done with the short game, gets it done with the putter, but he does have that upside with the ball striking, and now you're buying him at an absolute peak. I do think it's a bad play, but he says he feels good, so you have to trust Billy Horschel's word when he says he's playing good, because he'll tell you he's playing horrible if he is playing horrible or feeling horrible. Corey Connors talked about how much he loved the golf course, talked about how much this golf course means to him, obviously, and he says how much he loves the way the course fits his eye, and it makes a ton of sense. Corey Connors won here twice, always plays here good, always plays here well, and he said he'll play here every year no matter what. So good for Corey Connors. Now, I will say Corey Connors is going to be chalky, and this is the strongest field we've ever seen this event have Corey Connors in it. So I think take his course history with a grain of salt. But the stats make sense. He's gaining ball striking nearly every single week, and he finally gained strokes on the green, which is like, hallelujah, Corey Connors practiced putting one time ever. So he honestly can't be coming in better form, truthfully. And yeah, it makes a ton of sense. I'm going to be taking not the Corey Connors route, just because I think this is the strongest field Valero's ever seen. So taking his course history with a grain of salt, let's fade some of that chalk, in my opinion. Rory McIlroy, a guy who he just talked about the Masters a lot. He talked about his focus for next week and how to get it done next week, which I don't think is a good or bad thing. I just think whatever you think about Rory going into the week, ride with it. You're like, okay, he's either going to not care at all and get ready for next week, or he's either going to, this is a not the strongest field in the golf. He's one of the better players in the world. He's going to win like he does. He's won 3 times in the last 5 years before a major, the week leading up to a major. So Rory, it's very on brand for him to do that, especially going for the Augusta win, which he has tried so many times to do and came up short. It would be very on brand for him to win the week before and then not win next week. But I'm not fading Rory, at least not yet. I mean, in DFS, technically I am fading him because I'm not playing him, but I'm not opposed to like adding him in showdown later in the week or adding him in a matchup, or I don't have any strong feelings about Rory. So I'm going to say, wait and see, do whatever your mind. I usually give out a strong feeling on a guy. Like, I'll tell you, I love this guy, I hate this guy, or I'm be right, I'll be wrong 50% of the time, little corn flips. But I do not want to give you a strong case on Rory, because I truthfully don't think I have one, at least at this point right now. So those are the narratives. Nothing too crazy, nothing too leading about the golf course. I didn't say anything absurd. I think it's what we're going to get normally, because we get this event normally this time of year. So it's what we get the last few seasons. So let's get into some of the bets, some of the outright bets. I bet Matt Fitzpatrick at 28 to 1. When I saw Matt Fitzpatrick's strokes gained from the players, he gained 8 strokes ball striking and 7 strokes on the putting green. Usually, if you gain 8 ball striking and 7 putting, you should win the golf tournament. That has to be one of the best T5 performances I've ever seen. So I'm going to bet Matt Fitz. He won this time last year after one good week. So if that's going to show anything, he's going to win this week, LOL. But no, I am really high on Matt Fitzpatrick at a macro level in 2024. And he's one of the guys, like, I think is going to take that next step. Like, guys on the list were Xander Schauffele. Obviously, didn't come to fruition yet. Steven Yeager, won last week. JT Poston hasn't came to fruition yet, and Matt Fitzpatrick. Those are my short list of guys who I think can take that big leap in 2024. So hopefully, bitch ass Matt Fitz can do that for us at 28-1. Great number. Colin Morikawa 32-1. We're getting that drift on Colin that we love so much that kind of has paid off in his career. Colin Morikawa 32-1. He's lost on approach in his last 2 starts, which is definitely a concern. But I will say, in the last 6 months, he's played 2 shit field events. Zozo, win. Rocket Mortgage, playoff loss. Look at Colin Morikawa's results. They are all big dick events. Now he's playing in an easier field, I guess you could say. Why not? And as a course that requires elite iron precision, Colin Morikawa is a generational iron player. I don't care if his form is not amazing. We're getting a 30-1 on Colin Morikawa. Let's do it. Tom Kim, 63-1, I bet. Now, look, he's obviously not in the best of form. He's losing strokes ball striking, but I don't think he'd be playing this event if he wasn't ready, truthfully. But it could be a tune-up for the Masters, and he hasn't played, so it might just be a bad bet at a bad number. But I can eat that. I'm not a guy who really gets Tom Kim right, so you can. I have my guys for sure, and Tom Kim is not one of them. But I will say the top 2 correlations in course history are Sedgefield and TPC Summerlin, both courses that Tom Kim has won at. So I'll buy the Young Buck at 63-1. Big drop in his price. Keith Mitchell, 75-1. Why is Keith Mitchell 75-1 where like there's legitimate losers in the 35 to 40, 50 range? This is going to get me on a tangent real quick. Alex Noren is the worst bet in the history of golf. This motherfucker is a generational non-mixer and a generational linger around and find. He's just, okay, he's there on Sunday. He's T8. Like, bet him top 20. Not winning. Because he's just one of those losers in the 35 to 50 range. Keith Mitchell, he is hitting his irons so well. I know he missed the cut in Houston, but he was giga chalk after being hot in Valspar and being hot the weeks before. But this is the best iron form Keith Mitchell has had in his entire career. So we're getting him off a missed cut. He's had good history here. He's gained on approach here before. He could definitely bomb and gouge this place. 75-1, I'm down. Let's go, Keith. Austin Eckroat, 110-1. No respect to the numbers. He has won more recently than basically every single person priced above him. Literally every single person priced above him. He continues to gain with his irons. He's deadly accurate off the tee. Like, he's really found something with his irons. He doesn't have the great course history, but he's a new golfer this time around. He's still very young. He played college golf at Oklahoma State. He's from Oklahoma. He knows how to deal with this Texas weather. 110-1, Echo. Let's do it. Ryo Hisatsune, 125-1. A golfer that hits it straight off the tee, has spike performances with his middle irons and wedges, and is a great around the green player. Those are the boxes you need to check at TPC San Antonio. And he's just so ignorant and young and fearless enough to go out and win a PGA Tour event at 21 years old. That's the real thing. Like, he's just going to play golf, truthfully. Like, I could see this man truthfully contending in a major. I'm not even kidding. That talented. Vic Perez, 125-1, a guy I'm kind of a slut for, except for when he's chalk. And he missed out as chalk at Valspar, and I told you guys not to play him at the Valspar because 2 weeks before he was $5,300 and 3% owned. Then for some reason he is at the Valspar and he's 18% owned. No. You bet Vic Perez, you play Vic Perez when he is not chalky, and he's not owned right now, but he's a fair price and he's a fair number. And he's really good off the tee. He's gaining in both distance and in accuracy. And he has that spot. He's just gaining across the board, just very steady. I'm not sure he has the upside to win, but 125-1, I pulled the trigger, and he's won before. He's won the last 2 seasons over in Europe. So down for some Vic Perez. Seamus Power, 150-1, a guy who's gained on approach in 3 straight starts. And when Seamus shows it, he shows it. So get ahead of that trend, because he's a very streaky golfer. He's very boom or bust, which is also the next guy that I'm going to talk about. But Seamus, he's playing good golf right now. He was just in the final group 2 weeks ago on Sunday. 150-1 is a crazy number at a course that requires precision approach play, and that is what Seamus Power is, and that is what Seamus Power is showing. Adam Svensson, 175-1. Absurd number. His last 3 starts, he's been in the mix. I'll take that with a massive grain of salt because you can't even say in the mix on a Friday. But he's been there Thursday and Friday on the top of the leaderboards, then kind of faded over the weekend. But he's showing that approach gains, which he shows, then he stops showing, then he shows, then he stops showing. He's in a mix of showing those approach gains. So just like Seamus Power, of course, that requires that kind of stuff. Go and play him. So I'll give some DFS thoughts. Hold on, let me pull up something real quick with the DFS thoughts. A really good DFS play, in my opinion. Jordan Spieth, he's not getting any love this week. And as crazy as it sounds, you just play Jordan Spieth in Texas. You just play Jordan Spieth in Texas. 1 second, let me pull up my sheet. But I was very concerned why he's not getting talked about at all. Tommy Fleetwood, a guy who's also getting no love, and not that he's playing good golf, but he's going massively underlooked. And I don't think Tommy Fleetwood could win, but he could surely finish T8 in some difficult conditions. I'm super down for some Tommy Fleetwood. We got a question about Mark Hubbard in the chat. Yeah, Mark Hubbard is always a guy who can gain 8 on approach and probably lose nothing he probably lose a lot on the greens, but depends where you want to play him. I think he's a decent DFS play. What's his price? Is he in the 6K range? Hubbard, I'm not sure what his price is, but yeah, he's 7K flat. Yeah, he's not garnering any ownership. He doesn't have the best course history, but I'm not really worried about that. He has that high end upside with his irons, which is huge around here, especially when you need that on a golf course like this. Just joined. We like Morikawa this week. We love Morikawa this week. He's not playing great golf right now, but Morikawa has the course fit and golfer profile to play good golf on this given course. So he's low owned in DFS. He's the fourth highest priced golfer, and he's half the ownership as the top 3. And the last 2 small dick events he's played, which I'll consider Valero one of them, he finished 1st and 2nd. So I love some Colin Morikawa at 10-1 and 30-1 if you can grab it. Other DFS plays like chalk Christian Bezadenhu, a little chalky again. I think he gets that T15 to T30 upside. Love him there. Akshay Bhatia, I played him in DFS, but I don't think he's a great bet just because you're buying him at a recent high on the betting odds. We were on him last week at 85-1. Now he's 60-1. So I know it's not crazy, but I don't think you want to buy Akshay at a bump like that. Doug Gim, if you've played him the last 6 weeks, stay on Doug Gim if you can. Bo Hostler, don't overthink it. You play Bo Hostler in Texas. A very safe DFS play, Harris English. He is just in very steady form. Safe to make the cut, and it has that T5 upside. And then, that's pretty much wraps it up for the DFS outrights. If you want a 6K, 10 6K guys, go on the YouTube, go on my Twitter. There's a 6K video out there. You want the 5 grand golf bets, the first round leaders, YouTube, my Twitter, it's on there. And any other questions, you know where to find me. Ton of content this week. I'll see you guys on Friday. I got a new blog coming out on Friday, so peep my Twitter for that. And then the Friday live show will be there as well. One more tournament till the Masters, one more sleep till the Texas Open. Catch you guys Friday. Peace out.